Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Dennis Asset, and we're here to ensure that we're having conversations that matter, conversations that each and every single person wants to plug into in order to be able to make that change in one way or the other. Today is the 8th day of April 2024. Uko namna gani? Mimi niko salama, nashukuru, alhamdulillah. In all, we say thanks. In studio with me today, we have Obeds Oriko. So, good morning. How are you? Looking sharp.
Thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, uko salama?
Yeah.
Unasema
But you've taken us 2 years back. You said 2024.
2024 or 2026? 2026.
Nice
I
to
said
hear.
8th of April 2024 or plus 2 2026. You know, karibu sana. How are you?
Very good, man.
Yeah, very first time we're doing this together, eh?
And let's try and see how we do it. But it's the home of conversations, and we should be able to.
Yes, really, really important. You know, the weather out there is pretty. It's a bit chilly today. It's a bit chilly. Depends on where you're coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't come from leafy suburbs, but it's a bit chilly. Yeah.
I would want to say like the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. Irregardless, we are here and we are happy.
We should be happy.
Yeah. So let's just take you guys through conversations that we'll be having today, and at 7 a.m. At 7 a.m. we'll be having different conversations today, and at 7 a.m. we'll be talking about accountability and zoning, governance tools or political chairs. So we shall be having Dismas Mokwa, political risk analyst, and Arnold Maliba, who is a political analyst. Looking forward to having Arnold here today. Yesterday we waited for him, he didn't show up. Arnold, amka. We want to see you here today. Leo tunakutaka hapa kabisa.
We want his English.
His English and eloquence,
yes.
You know. Yeah. And at 8 a.m. we'll be having a conversation around the election. 2027 is just around the corner. Right. Everybody is preparing for that. You talk about different political parties. Wengine wanataka power, wengine wanataka zoning.
They can't even decide what's good for them. Confused.
Interesting times, you know. And with everybody also just planning, you talk about the United Opposition. Nowadays, they're alternative government, you know. So that as well. And as we talk about that, then it is about auditing the voters register and population data. You know, former Attorney General J.B. Muturi said that it's about time that REBC audited the register, the voters register, as well as just reconcile that with the population data, because throughout the years there are many who've died. You know, that together with
important.
Yeah, you're saying?
It's important because I think also there's a reality that we must face, that some dead people have voted in the past. And how they do that, God knows.
Yeah, there is that as well. So I think it's just important that as we approach the 2027 election, that everything is proper, and that there is no room for like dead people to vote.
Or suggestion that anything ulterior has happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And at 9 a.m., we shall be having a conversation with you. So this is an opportunity for us to engage on the 2/3 gender rule. You know, the 2/3 gender rule has become a problem in the country for a very, very long time. You know, you remember former Chief Justice Emeritus, Maraga, made a ruling, a judgment actually.
2017, I think.
Yeah, for the former President Uhuru Kenyatta to just disband government because we had not achieved the constitutional mandate of 2/3 gender rule. It is a problem even as we speak today.
I think it's about weak implementation, because the courts have, pronounced themselves. But I think generally, also culturally, we haven't accepted that this is part of it. It's looked as a women issue as opposed to a gender issue, which is a bit of a problem where people don't understand.
Yeah.
But the women are the most marginalized and probably need to be brought into the political space.
So at 9 a.m. we have that conversation with you guys who are listening to us, and on that we'll be asking the question: what will it take to attain the 2/3 gender rule? What must we do? We know that Aaron Cheriot has actually presented a bill that wants to change that, to make it open for everybody to participate in that, including the party members, to have a say in the nomination process. So let's see how that will be taking place. But aside from that, I just want to say hello to everybody. Evelyn, salam nyingi sana. I want to say hello to JB. Who else is there? Voke, ako salama sana. Good to see you, my G. We have Evelyn, just tell me who's that. Derek, Barry Derek. And where is Melvin? Melvin, Melvo. Hello. We have JB on the other side. We have Mutanu, and we have Teddy as well, who just makes sure that everything is going well on these end. And everybody else from the security guys outside, Asanteni Sana, for making sure that everything runs as expected. The cleaners, Asanteni Sana, and also guys who serve us here to ensure that, our bellies are full in the morning. Want to say hi to Maurice and everybody, Asanteni Sana. But even while at that, let's just say hi and good morning to those who are listening to us online. So, as you know, we are streaming live.
Good morning.
On YouTube, we are live on the X, we are live on Instagram as well. But we shall do as we always do, right? We just have to say hello and good morning to everybody on YouTube this morning. So, Carrier Peter, good morning from Mombasa. The beautiful thing about life is that you can always change, grow, and get better. You aren't defined by your past or your mistake. You agree?
Yeah, your past is good, but it just a mark and a point where you learn from. And I mean, we learn from a lot of mistakes. I don't remember people who do things from the right things.
True.
You make mistakes, you learn from them.
True.
If you don't, learn from other people's mistakes.
Then people who don't make mistakes, me, I know.
Who?
Kenyan politicians. Those are
always
perfect.
blaming somebody else.
Those are perfect, yeah. So, Robert Mboga, good morning. Tuned in from Mombasa. Good morning to you, Robert. Michael Olande. Kuibuka 32, remembering the victims of Rwanda genocide and how not to deal with tribalism. I agree with you, Michael Olande. Things that we should learn from others pretty much on what happened and how they're dealing with the same. Bernard Nyaberi, morning. We were lied to that there was enough fuel on Sunday. Nimetafuta mafuta. Only one petrol station had fuel, so these people should tell us the truth. What's the truth?
The truth is that there's fuel, but some people want to get rich quick.
So they're hoarding.
They're hoarding.
Many are actually waiting for 14th for the new prices, and then people want to cash in proper.
Yesterday, similar situation. You go to a petrol station, we don't have fuel.
But I think also government of Kenya should come out and tell people, fine, you've said that we do not, there is no fuel crisis, right? So then why, in an instant where we find that there is fuel shortage in some petrol stations, is someone playing wish-washy, and what are you doing about it?
I think that is also reality. But they've been sounding a warning, which is really neither here nor there. They don't mean it.
Let's move forward. So we have Baba Three Girls. Good morning, Team Spice. Good morning to you, Baba Three Girls. Devin Mangera. Good morning, Spice FM. Tuned in from LD, Habaria LD. That is my hometown, Pioneer State. We have Jennifer Itania. Good morning, Spice Team and family. Good morning, Aseto. Good morning to you. Good morning, Obed. Tuned in from Kikuyu Road. That's around my neck of the woods. Eriko Ward. Good morning, guys. Berin Ogema. Good morning. Blessed day to everyone. Good morning and blessed day to you too. Leo. Hello, Aseto. Hello. How's Princess Ndundu as we speak right now? Ako Nigeria. She's gone to visit
holiday.
The king.
Holiday.
Holiday. We call her princess. And last week we kept calling Binti wa Mfalme. So she's gone back to her roots.
Yeah. It's a good thing. She has to get in touch with the ancestors.
Exactly. So this administration thinks a speed camera, a money-making scheme, is the solution to road accident. What about bad road design? What happened to speed governors? We keep talking about implementation. That's our biggest problem.
But then, Dennis, gadgets or no gadgets, are the roads good enough? Are they motorable enough? They're death traps, in my view.
When you talk about road design and everything, so there are mistakes that happen whenever roads are coming up. So there is always the aspect of, fine, you've put up the road, there is a mistake that happened somewhere. Are you fixing it? That's number one.
Exactly.
Because error usually do happen. So are you fixing that? Number two, even after constructing the road, what is the standard that Kenya has put upon itself, that these are the roads that we have, this is the bare minimum that we need to have. So you talk about drainage, you talk about bumps. Are they in the right place? Are they of the right size?
We have bumps actually on highways.
On highways, do
drainage,
we have
terrible?
Do we have furniture? road furniture. You know, so there is a lot that goes into having road. It's not just putting tar and then you move.
Well, you know how many people have to eat the ranks?
Oh yeah. Unajua, me, there's a place in Nairobi. I think it's close to Gitanga Road. There are bumps. One would think. Sorry to use that example. One would actually imagine it's like you have coffins on the road. They're huge.
Yeah, they had excessive.
Yeah.
Or they had to get rid of it. You know, like sometimes when you dump fuel.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So let's go to Mohammed Ali Ibrahim. Moha, morning. Looking forward to a fruitful day. Good morning to you. And Carol Nyambura. Good morning, everyone. Napenda sana, wishing you a blessed day ahead. Wishing you a very good one as well. Mashari Anjeru, good morning. Spice team watching from Portland, Oregon. How's Portland this morning? How are you?
On.
Yeah, always on. You know, these are people who show us that we're doing something right.
Which is
and we also appreciate the fact that some of them, it's early morning, yet they're here listening with us. You know, asante sana. Yeah, so Christina, good morning. Zoning issue is to make us forget the fuel scandal. The script continues. I watched the Anglo Leasing documentary, same script with fuel scandal, people resigning, and Afro cinema does what? Continues, exactly. Edwin Tulo. Good morning, Aseto. Likuyani is loud. Good morning to my love, Susan. Susan, your love, Edwin says, good morning. And Enoch.
Business. Is she the one who's doing my boy?
Hey, yo, chill bro. Usiendo. Toka huko kabisa. Toka huko kabisa. So we have Enoch and Zina. Good morning from India. Namaste. Namasakara. Namaste. And we are blessed to see another day, guys. Give thanks and we say yes to that kabisa. And to everybody else who's here, who's listening to us, tunasema asanteni sana, and happy that you're here with us. Happy to skume gurudumu la maisha. We're here to have these conversations. But even before we get to the newspapers, I just want us to talk about the Democratic Republic of Congo, because that is where our proverb comes from. Democratic Republic of Congo is a country that is rich in resources. You know, talk about cobalt, one of the resources used for batteries, EVs that we know today. Talk about solar panel and batteries, lithium-ion batteries that are needed. You talk about a fact that it has the rainforest in there. You know, but today you find that a country that has rainfall pretty much throughout the year is actually being given food donations. So agriculture is not working for them.
Isn't that Africa's curse?
Africa's story, one would say, you know. And with that in mind, then one asks the question, what must we as from the motherland, what must we do to ensure that no one is left behind, you know? Because if the resources they do have, we cannot even start talking about fact that they have so much fuel. We're talking about fuel crashes in the country today. Just here in Congo, they have so much fuel that has not even been exploited yet. You know, so what are we doing for us to be self-sustaining? East Africa Community, again, Africa Union. This is an opportunity for you to sit down and think about how no one is left behind.
They know what's needed, but it's about an extraction economy. Somebody is benefiting much more from the flows.
All right, but tuende kwa proverb. So the proverb this morning, a man who marries a beautiful woman and a farmer who grows corn by the roadside have the same problem.
Yes.
How would you interpret it?
You know, corn by the roadside and it's doing very well. It's obviously eyed by everyone. They like what they see. And definitely it's just a challenge that you might be sharing this with a lot of people, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
And the same goes for a man who marries a very beautiful girl. The challenge is, if you're an insecure man, your life will be tormented. Would interpret it in so many other ways.
So many other ways. So it's pretty much about so how I look at it is with knowing very well that you have a very beautiful woman, or it is the fact that you've grown a beautiful corn that is doing well by the roadside. So everyone is attracted to it.
Exactly.
So challenge is on you on how you will protect that which you have. You know, so I will look at Kenya as the beautiful woman and the corn. A beautiful country. You know, talk about resources, Kenyans with beautiful brains out here doing amazing things.
Yeah.
But when it comes to, say, the politics of the country, what are we doing with it? This beautiful girl that you have, these beautiful corn that you have.
How do you take care of it?
How do you take care of it? You don't. That's why we talk about brain drain. Everybody wants to leave the country. You know, we have doctors in the country who are working outside the country and serving
Doing
others
very well.
outside the country. You know, so what are we doing with it? Others are coming in, looking at this beautiful girl. They're putting up amazing companies that are benefiting them.
Exactly.
You know, beautiful girl Kenyans, you know, Jerry, Anyango, Kerubo. That is who Kenyans are. Mora.
Like Christmas says it all the time.
Exactly. You know. So yeah, interesting to see how our guests will be interpreting that. If we go to the papers this morning and we start with Kenya's Bold newspaper. Okay. A guy. This is the headline. Been here before, and those are images of DCI boss Mohamed Min, Cabinet Secretary for Energy, and that would be Opio Andai, and that is the DPP Renson Ingonga. Now, the charade. Now, the inaction on the tainted, overpriced petrol saga is just the latest act in a familiar script. Dramatic arrest, bold promises, and wall-to-wall headlines. Behind the spectacle lies a hollow core of weak cases, endless delays, and quiet withdrawals. From the cooking oil scandal that left top officials untouched, to fertilizer fraud costing billions, to healthcare schemes riddled with ghost payments, scandals erupt and fade, leaving one constant: investigators and prosecutors who perform enough to suggest action, but never enough to deliver accountability.
The drama series continues.
We've been here before, you know, and there's something.
The lady who had a consignment at some point.
I remember.
The same saga, it just died off.
It just died off.
Didn't get anybody taking responsibility to be punished.
But you know, the saddest part for me is we've seen heads roll, right? So we have the PS, we have the KPC boss, and very many other people who've been sent packing, right? They've had to resign from office. But here's the thing, right? The cabinet secretary says he was not aware. Personally, for me, that is an indictment on your person, because
he's incompetent.
You are incompetent. This is your office. The buck stops with you. So if all these communication was happening and you were unaware, you can imagine there is a ship that left wherever it is it left. It went through several communications, went through the maritime borders, got into Kenyan territory, and got to the port. It docked. Only for Kenya to find out, there is fuel.
Surprise.
You know, surprise. So if you are cabinet secretary and you say that you are not aware that fuel was getting into the country against the law.
But didn't we say he's not the accounting officer?
It's
the PS.
The buck stops with him as the cabinet secretary.
And according to his party leader, he's not responsible.
The buck stops with him as the cabinet secretary. 100%. He is the guy behind the policy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you are unaware, I'm sorry, but you got no business being in that office. You got no business.
But that's the issue about accountability in this country. Other countries, even before it happens, somebody has said, hands up.
Yes.
I slept on my job. I'm out. We can't do that.
I'm out. We can be honest here. The guy slept on his job.
He did.
You know, and here we can also say it. You presented yourself as the expert. Your expertise in this sense has to be questioned.
Exactly.
Has to be questioned.
Because then what do you offer?
What are you bringing on the table?
You can't even do the most basic of things. I mean, to understand what's going on in your...
To some point, I'd want to give President William Ruto the credit. You know, he knows more than the people he's put into office.
Oh, he confirmed it.
He confirmed it.
Just proven it.
You know? Anyway, let's go to page 2. SIM swap scammers turn sleepy villages into heaven for criminals.
See, we know this case.
So let me tell you, there's a guy who called me yesterday, yeah? So tells me he's calling me from one of the telcos in the country.
Yep.
We had conversation for 20 minutes because I know who he was. So, you know me, I was just playing around with him. We had conversation for 20 minutes until later I just asked him, okay, I'm sorry, but what did you say your name was? He couldn't remember the name he told me because he had
How sad.
You know, and that's when I told him, like, okay, fine, just confirm your name, then call me back.
But Dennis, I think this speaks to something that is really a problem. You have very smart Kenyans who've gone to school, And what are they doing now? They have no hope for a job.
Try and survive.
So we have to survive.
Yeah. So DCI says lawyer in 600 million land scam case is a state witness. So the Director of Criminal Investigations wants the court to bar a lawyer from representing 5 UK nationals charged with 600 million fraudulent land case. You know, one thing in Kenya is shida ya shamba.
Land has many ghosts.
Many ghosts,
Many
you know.
owners.
And you see, this is another area that one would say the custodian of land records is the government of Kenya. So government of Kenya should be the number one protector of individuals who are selling or those who are buying, because all you need to do is walk into the Ministry of Lands, get the search done, and you know who's the rightful owner of that piece
If
of
I
land.
remember correctly, David,
But
Ngilu, when she was minister,
she tried to digitize the system, yeah.
what happened to digitization?
Digitization left at that point. You know, it
was just
never left the station.
It was just noise so that we can have somebody get into procurement.
You know, so because the story of digitizing the
Would have
records
solved
at the land has been a conversation for a very long time. But again, it's too much talk, less work, no boots on ground. You know, so Ruto Gachagua showed on looms at MP's funeral. So political arch rivals President William Ruto and his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua could today meet in a public gathering for the first time since their falling out. The two are set to attend a funeral service for the late Olkalau MP David.
President is there. Gachagua walks in late.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But you see
Or
now,
would he go?
or Gachagua gets in early and President finds it difficult to show up. That could also happen.
Interesting days.
You know.
But then there has to be respect for the people who've lost their loved ones.
Yeah.
Not to play politics. But then Kenyan politicians, do we have anything called shame?
Nope. Shem ni wewe.
Ni wewe.
It only exists in the
In
books. In the books or in your head.
I like confusion on CBET because of drama festival.
Yeah.
So that girl, and you know how we used to hate E's? Now they do EE.
Yeah.
So they have, I like what she said, you have to make up your mind whether it's an A or an E. Quite interesting. But CBE, in my view, renamed from CBC, is the biggest confusion I think we ever created for ourselves.
I think CBE as a principle, as a curriculum is a good thing. You know, the only thing now is with this new thing that you're introducing into the education system, there is massive and crazy investment that is needed. All right, that has to follow it. But here we are implementing something that is great, but you don't want to put money into it to ensure that it succeeds. So then you find everything is grappling, because we're talking about teachers' pay, we talk about capitation not getting to schools. Yet this is hands-on approach to education.
Which then would ask the question, maybe it's a good system that we've adopted, but then have we tried to localize it into our situation and knowing what we're dealing with? Because the reality is, Dennis, we aspire for first world things, Singapore things, and we can't do Singapore stuff.
I don't think that we can't do Singapore stuff. I am for the idea that the education system, with amazing educationists who exist, who crafted the curriculum, they did an amazing job. When it comes to the implementation of it, right, is where the rubber meets the road.
Which is
because, granted, at some point, 844, we had so many subjects. I remember even arts and craft was part of it, home science was part of it, agriculture was part of it, history, you know, everything was in there. But as time progressed and the implementation of that curriculum at the time is when we saw some things dropped. Arts and craft was removed. It was never a core aspect of it. So if you look at CBC and CBE, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. You know, it is, if you look at the way 844 started, it is just the way CBC or CBE is at the moment. It's the implementation where we get it wrong.
There's a lot that it's a conversation on its own, actually. Yes, because I have a gripe with it. There's much that can be done to make it better, or have the people implement it correctly.
I was having a discussion with someone the other day, and they're planning to get their kids to school, right? And being in this space where we cover CBC, CBE every other day, and when asked the question, when it's your time for your child to go to school, everybody's avoiding it. You know, because that individual actually told me, I am saving so much to take my child through an international
curriculum. or people are opting for homeschooling. Which is what is working for them. But not every Kenyan can afford to do that. And unfortunately, it's one of the most unequal education systems. For instance, you saw a comparison quite recently I saw where you're looking at the classes in a certain part of the country and other people. It's so painful to say that the same kids will sit for the same exam.
Yeah.
So are we blaming the ministry for not doing the job, or is it generally that as a populace we don't take education seriously?
No, I think the biggest question would be education as an equalizer. Is it an equalizer?
I don't think it is.
If you find a place like Nairobi has, not even Nairobi, let's just take Nairobi for example. There are places in Nairobi where you have beautiful schools. There are other places within Nairobi where schools, and classes do not exist. Yet these children are supposed to sit for an exam and all be measured using that same matrix.
So it's a very unequal equalizer.
It is not an equalizer. It is not an equalizer because the government of Kenya is supposed to look at education as an equalizer and ensure that each school across the country is of the same standard, the same amount of teachers, same resources are there. If it's laboratories, all schools have 3 or 4 laboratories.
Exactly.
If it's
people have no idea what's a laboratory.
Exactly.
They think actually is where people wash their faces when they see the photos.
Because you look at CBE, we have a module in swimming. In Nairobi, I think I've seen how many public schools with swimming pools. I know one are in I think Kilimani Primary School has a swimming pool.
How many
but that is the only school I've seen. One would say in Nairobi that I've seen.
Even private schools have to go to places where they
have to go higher
for a few hours.
Exactly.
So there's aspiration. And there's the reality that we're dealing with.
Yeah, so government of Kenya backstops with you, unfortunately. It's what you applied for. It is why Kenyans put you there. Ensure that these things get to school. And if it's not working, Kenyans will tell you, you work.
And it's not working. Including Nairobi.
Wait, toka uko. Yeah. So revolving door of graft cases exposes a system that shields the powerful. That is the story on the fuel saga that is ongoing in the country.
Musical chairs.
So musical chairs. We've been here before, but until when?
But that's why people went to the street in 2024 because the question was accountability. Our resources are not being taken care of. Somebody is responsible for a certain place, but they can't even take accountability for their job. So it's painful, but people are called terrorists for asking for what is right. Yeah, we don't like being questioned as a government. We hate it.
And CS Wandai rejects costly fuel cargo at shortage bites now. Energy CS Opio Wandai has instructed oil marketing firms that were involved for the cargo by One Petroleum not to make payments. He said the landing cost of the cargo would have led to an increase of 14 shillings a litre in pump prices.
It gives the vibes of, you remember the airport where we said we've cancelled and then we had to pay a certain amount?
Yeah.
And then somebody's saying, don't pay.
Don't pay.
We love comedy in this country.
So PS here says that it is the TVET Principal Secretary Esther Moria, who was before the National Assembly Public Petitions Committee yesterday, says will create agency to guide clergy training. Clergy,
another
pastors,
waste of time.
Another
waste of time.
Why would you say that?
I get the argument, but think, is it the biggest problem we have in this country?
It's part of the problem.
Yeah, but is there any difference between them and the politicians?
The PS is just speaking from her docket. She's just taking charge of her docket.
Dennis, there are more pressing issues in this country.
Number one, let's mention 3. Problem number 1.
Education, we just spoken about. Health.
3.
People can't eat.
So this one would fall like...
this is the list of people's problems, Dennis. Honestly, in the hierarchy of our problems, these actually fades completely.
Okay. Sisi tunataka power. And ODM says, ODM MPs clash over zoning ahead of polls. So Minority Whip Millie Odhiambo opposes zoning, urges focus on strengthening the party. So party debates focuses on whether to prioritize pre or post-election coalition. This is what I gotta say. You are a political party. You are selling an agenda to Kenyans. This thing of zoning, toka hapo. if I come from, let me use my Assetto political party, and I want to run in an ODM zone, let me run. If your policy is better than mine, you'll get the votes. If I'm better than you, I will defeat you hands down. So this thing of zoning and whatnot is just a way of individuals ensuring that they do not face competition in their strongholds, because you know what they want to do? They want to ensure that they are the only ones there, so that they can give, that thing of nikikupatia certificate, you are assured. Of that seat. That's exactly what they want. I support Millie Odhiambo on this. Strengthen your political parties. Ensure that you have individuals who will carry the aspirations of the party, who will convince the electorates that they have their interest in mind.
Dennis.
Yes.
You say you're the biggest party north of what?
Limpopo.
And then you start crying about, they're even arguing from a point of weakness. They walked into a slaughterhouse and they're deciding which knife will be used to slaughter them.
Yeah.
It can't happen. And I'm happy that this is coming to the fore, and probably that's what we're speaking about at 7. It's interesting to see ODM admit that they're weak. By asking for zoning, you're basically saying we can't compete.
You know what? Let's look at the Daily Nation.
Remember
Because
when Baba would say
we are unbogable. ODM seems to be very bogable right now. Man.
It is very bogable.
Yeah, you can't say you are unbogable anymore, because if you're pushing for zoning, trust that you're able to convince Kenyans to give you the vote. Go out there, sell your agenda, sell your policies. Yeah. If Kenyans buy into what it is you're giving them, you'll get the vote.
Do your job.
If you are a weakling, you are a weakling. Yeah, let's look at the Daily Nation.
You don't get it.
Yeah.
Fresh twist in 12 billion.
Yeah, so you see that microphone is yours to speak in.
Oh.
We can't hear you.
I'll use it properly. So, fresh twist in 12 billion bad fuel scandal. I think we've talked about it.
Yeah.
And it's looking bad on the state. The state yesterday ordered the removal from Kenya of condemned fuel cargo, and the importer promptly conceded. But the questions over where the petrol was for 10 days and what the contractual obligations were still linger. It's just...
Piki ponky.
We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Gachagua bears his brother's will to show division of property, which I think is a very good... He's pulled the rug under the carpet of some people who are trying to malign him. But I think for me, the devolution question here, county struggle as 143 billion revenue crisis derails services. These are the same people who have not spent the money correctly, but they have a challenge now. They're expecting services will be derailed because 143 billion is a problem. No.
How about these governors just start by appearing before the Senate committees and explain how they've used the money that they had, so that we can understand if they need more or they need less.
They're being embarrassed.
Yeah.
Sifuna is embarrassing them.
No, Sifuna is not really. Sifuna is just doing his job.
I mean, that's exactly what they're saying. He's harassing them, embarrassing them, and just because they can't account for what
what you signed yourself into.
So homelessness time bomb in city suburb. This is in Kitengela, and it's a concern. But I think in Kenya there has been. We're building affordable houses.
Yeah, but we're building affordable houses for those who can afford it. If you're homeless, clearly from the word go, you've been unable to afford rent. So exactly. How do you get into affordable housing where you're supposed to put a down payment? It's 900 bob. I mean,
but do you see the irony?
I get where you're going. I just don't want to be in that bus with you.
Dennis, you just walk with me. I mean, walk with me.
Yeah.
And then there's something about Kindiki. Sort of like changing tact. There's more of a conciliatory tone based on what I'm seeing here, and he has adopted a conciliatory tone, departing from the sharp exchanges that characterize the falling out between allies of the president and those of Mr. Gachagua.
Okay.
It tells you something to do with the 2027 dynamics, I think. Okay. He realizes probably it's not looking good for him. Orengo's complex stance with the Odinga dynasty. That's an interesting read for people who want to understand James. He's always remained committed to what he believes in, as much as he's supported a cause for a while. But they're telling him he's not doing a good job in. See, I don't know.
Yes, yeah, people are also speaking, man. So yeah, there is that. But we had him here before. He said the things that he's doing. It's those things that you take very long time to implement, and in the long run is when you get the.
So you're saying it's a
fruits.
long-term plan.
It's a long-term plan.
I like Gachagua lays bare his brother's will, and I think it's a very good thing because I saw it even in the Standard. It's
Yes,
out there.
It's out there, yeah.
And that changes the dynamic. I don't know those who are using it as a political tool are going to use it. I don't know how it works. And it's actually here, the estate of public statement, estate of the late James Nderitu Gachagua.
Yeah.
This is beautiful and interesting because then, good days ahead.
Wale watu wengine ambao wako in such situations.
Tafadhali, this is the best will they have said that people should copy. And I remember a jibe from Gachagua saying somebody might actually need the will. Knowing him,
Yeah.
he might need to use the will. It's probably a good example.
True.
Yeah, so what we have, I think...
We're still on
the Nation.
The Daily Nation. Okay, so
Yeah, so the counties choking on county services are choking. That's what we're seeing on page 17 of the Daily Nation. And but there are structural weaknesses in revenue collection in the devolved units, and it's clear that on-source revenue is not working. But then,
that thing of on-source revenue is not working. I refuse to accept that because counties do collect our revenue on a daily basis, but one thing that we have to rather confront is fact that not all the on-source revenue ends up in the county's accounts. Because I will give you an example in Nairobi. So in Nairobi, we know that the Nairobi County government collects parking fees, right?
Fees.
But you go some places in Nairobi, and the people who are actually directing you on where you will park, and the people that you pay after the fact, are not county officials. But these people, you see them doing their jobs, and I would dare say the governor's office, you can just see it, it's just there. So that means that is an area that should be secure. That is an area that county askaris are very many. But this happens in the broad daylight.
I think the reality is somebody has hired that slot in quotes and they pay to the county at the end of the day.
They don't pay to the county, they pay to an individual in the county.
Sounds better.
Yeah, sounds better.
Internationally, why Iran-US deal is hard to reach amid raising tensions.
But they've actually announced as 2 weeks ceasefire, as conversations I think in Islamabad are ongoing. So finally there is an end. Is there an end to the ongoing crisis that we see? President Trump had said that you guys will see hell. We will come if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz. And I saw another tweet saying that we actually lost the keys, so we can't open.
Did you see the Iranians around the nuclear plant?
Around the nuclear plants
like confidence
and strategic roads and everything. So if you want to attack it,
annihilate the whole population, as you said, the civilization, let it die.
Let me tell you, this is not. There is different ways of dealing with war in 2026, man. This is not the way war has been played for a very long time, because here there are people involved, leave alone like military to military. These are innocent individuals who are here to protect their country. How do you go about it?
But they've always suffered. Unfortunately, I think Trump underestimated Iran. Persians have shown him something that he never thought.
There is also the resolve of the people to just leave us alone. This is our country.
Despite our challenges.
This is our country.
Kenyans act that way when we're fighting an out enemy.
Let's look at the Star real quick. So here there's fresh fight erupts in Raila party as new group opposes Wanga-led zoning push. Okay, so ODM UDA fallout looms as the zoning standoff escalates. That is on page 6 of the Star, as well as just there we see lift the order on instant road fines. Kindiki urges the court. So Kindiki wants the instant fines to be reinstated pretty much, because this is because of there was the funeral service for the 16 who died recently. So he was saying let these fines be there there so that people can respect the road rules, traffic rules, and all that.
It is. Honestly, you really believe that's going to be the biggest solution for the problem we have?
I mean, I'm going to look at it in twofold, right? If we all Kenyans decide to follow traffic rules, perhaps these are things that would not be there. But if this is one of the things that will force motorists, all the road users, to avoid such accidents, I'm like, Nisawa.
In the
ideal. If this is what it will take, Nisawa. But remember, like when we started the conversation, so there is as well road design, So there is furniture that is there. There is also, we also have to deal with corruption that is on the roads.
So there's much to be done.
There is much
before you get to the point where you're finding people, because I know registration, some people own cars that don't even belong to them.
To them, yeah.
There's so much, honestly, that needs to be done before you can confidently say this system will work.
Because road safety is wide. So your vehicle, is it registered? Does it meet the requirements? Does it meet the standards that we've put in terms of emissions? Is it roadworthy? Is it safer to be on the road? I mean, all those things have to be put in place.
Well trained?
Do
they meet the requirements? Do we need to have people go back?
Thank you. So there's a lot to be done. But if this is one of the ways that will ensure that people respect, Nisawa. But like you've said, a lot more needs to be done. So audit questions, secret funds as the security budget reaches a record high. So that is in page 4 and page 5, and that is according to Auditor General. I mean, this lady works so hard.
She works so hard, but they are making her sound like a broken record.
She works so hard. Like we said, an Auditor General will also just tell you, Nyaje, this is what I have. Implement it, look into it, because those reports are again given to Parliament. So Parliament needs to implement the same and look at the queries that do exist and ask the difficult questions. But what is Parliament doing with that?
Can they ask the difficult questions?
They should. I'm to Olizier.
To
Kenyans.
Muuliza.
Yeah.
You're tired asking. Yeah, because they say wataongea watachoka watalala.
Because here we're seeing audit questions, secret spending as a security budget hits record high. So we talk about security budget hitting record high. One thing for sure I know is that security agencies would not tell you how they spent these budgets because it's security. But you see, with all these budgets going to security, one would hope that Kenyans feel secure. So we look at, is it petty theft? You look at terrorism and everything else. So we have to ask the question, with all this money we're giving you, what are we getting in return?
Yeah, that's... And just Gadungo flags gaps in 53 billion teachers' medical cover scheme. What matters to people does not matter to them.
Anyway, so manhunt for 26 in fuel scandal as ODM defends CS1I. You see, this is a point where ODM has fashioned itself for a very long time, being a party that is pro-people.
Yes.
We need to also realize right now that this man, Opio and I think once you get to a position of cabinet secretary, you resign as a politician. So this is a point where ODM party ought to protect Kenyans and not an individual. So on this one, ODM is letting itself down, not even Kenyans. It's letting itself down.
Which ODM are we talking about?
Okay, let's talk about the ODM that is protecting Wandai. That one is the one we're talking about, right? Okay. So here's a question that, as a political party that has fashioned itself as a party that has always been pro-people, in the event where we see things happening that are anti-people, and you protect an individual who ought to have done their job, slept on the job, how then do you convince me as a Kenyan that you as a political party, Orange Democratic Party, Jano, you were told that D is very important. It's democratic. But that democratic does not exist anymore, because at this point, where do you stand when in all these things are happening? Is it for Kenyans or against?
I think it's as it is against Kenyans.
It's against Kenyans, right?
And protecting Wandai, honestly, as we've spoken, I think this proves that he's out of depth within that space and probably needs to be helped to be out of trouble.
Kenyans have asked that question before because this is both, there has been more of a political appointment, not based on merit, not because someone knows it is what it is they're doing, but this was just to pacify the political class at that point. And you see, we keep on saying, if I want if I want to hire someone who will take care of the health sector, I better hire a doctor who understands the ins and outs of the health sector. If I want to have education system work right, I might as well get an educationist who understands how to manage an education system.
Yep.
If I want someone in the education sector, I would not education in petroleum industry. I will hire a petroleum engineer who understands how things
work in that space.
Right? And hapo ndio tumemalizia hii conversation.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.